I'm Colin McRoberts. I'm running for Congress in the 1st District in Kansas. I wanted to make sure I got a video down today about trans rights because the Kansas legislature has just overridden the governor's veto of the anti-trans bathroom bill. I started to write a statement about this and then decided it's not that kind of issue. I really shouldn't be writing a careful statement and reading exactly those words. I should just speak from the heart about values and principles because that's the point of all of this. Now, running for office for an honest person isn't about putting yourself into a new job. It's about defending and articulating and fighting for values and principles. Going to Congress is a means to an end. And the end is standing up and saying this is right and this is wrong and doing something about it. So I should be able to speak to that. Otherwise, what's the point? So here's what's right. I stand with the trans community. And that seems incredibly obvious to me. It's sometimes hard for me to understand how anybody couldn't. Trans people are people. Trans rights are human rights. Just the normal human right to be left alone by government, to be who you are, to decide who you are. And if somebody else disagrees with you, that's their right. But government doesn't get to disagree with you because government doesn't get to define who we are. That's not a power anybody should want government to have. And you would think that would be especially obvious to conservatives, to the GOP, the party that used to be the party of small government, used to be the party of individualism, used to be the party of self-determination, before it became the party of taking and holding power at any cost, even a cost of dignity, even a cost of principles and values thrown under the bus to support that power. So there's a couple of things I really wanted to speak to here. One is that fundamental positive principle. Trans rights are human rights. People should be able to decide who they are, and it's not the government's business to interfere with that. So I stand with the trans community for that reason. Democrats already agree with me on that. I want to speak now to Republicans, to independents, to conservatives, to moderates. I think largely to the people who are going to be called rhinos for breaking with the party line on this. Good for you. Own it, because there's a value here we can agree on that I think ties us together, which is the idea that this is not something government should be doing, regardless of how you feel about trans people. I heard something really useful about this from one of my campaign staff. We were talking about trans issues and how do we talk about this in the campaign trail? How do we talk about this with Republicans? And she said something I thought was really interesting. She said, you know, what you should say about this is, I stand with the trans community, and you may not. That's okay. Shouldn't you stand with what we could do with the money and the time and the effort we're spending as a state attacking the trans community? And I thought that's fantastic. That's the best way to boil it down into one basic statement that ties together both of those things, that positive principle of I stand with the trans community, and the more complicated thing of I don't need you to, I just need you to think about why we're spending so much time and effort and money attacking them. Because those things are very closely connected. And we are spending a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money attacking the trans community. One of the weakest communities in history, one of the most powerless communities. And we are spending millions of dollars to attack them, attack their dignity, attack their independence, attack their ability to go to the bathroom. And when I say millions of dollars, that's not speculation. It is going to be millions of dollars by the end of the day, probably a lot of millions of dollars, because there's going to be lawsuits over this. Those lawsuits are going to be defended by the state, by the Attorney General, not well, given that the Attorney General is Chris Kobach, who has a history of incompetence. The only AG in history that I know of to ever be sanctioned by a court and sent back to law school because of his incompetence. He's going to do his best. He's got some lawyers on staff who are better than he is. They're going to fight. They might win, they might lose. For these purposes, it doesn't matter, because whoever loses that lawsuit, they're going to appeal. And those appeals will eventually go up to the Kansas Supreme Court or the National Supreme Court, and it's going to be millions and millions and millions of dollars. For what? To keep trans people from going to the bathroom? That is not a problem. That has never been a problem. And trans people have been going to the bathroom at public bathrooms for longer than I've been alive, for longer than you've been alive, for longer than our parents were alive, for longer than their parents were alive. Trans people have been around for a very long time. They may not have been called trans people. People may not have known their neighbor was trans. They may not have known that the idea that trans people existed wasn't really in the same cultural discussion that is today. But there were trans people, and they were out there living their lives, and it was fine. Nobody was hurt by it. That's true today, too. I go out and I talk to Kansans as I'm campaigning, And I ask them, just as a common question, what are your biggest issues? What are your biggest problems? What do you need fixed in your life, in your community, on your farm? And no one has ever said trans people existing is one of my problems, because nobody thinks that. That's not a problem for anyone in the world. And it's something I've been talking about a little bit in personal conversations on the trail. Brother, no trans person broke your nose or picked your pocket. No trans person tariffed your crops. No trans person helped Argentina import billions of dollars of beef. No trans person has messed with USAID. No trans person ended Food for Peace programs. No trans person is in the Epstein files or concealed the Epstein files. Trans people haven't hurt you. And yet, the state of Kansas is spending millions of your dollars to hurt them. It's wrong. It's just wrong. I stand with trans people. You may not. That's okay. Shouldn't you stand with what we could do with the money and the time and the effort that could be helping Kansans and not bullying them, not attacking them, not dragging them down for the sake of party politics? You don't have to stand with trans people. Stand with your neighbors. Thank you. God bless.